Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So welcome to another episode of Christian Apologetics, this series that I'm uploading on Sundays, where I present you guys different arguments for the existence of God and for the reliability of the Bible and the Gospels. And I also show you guys common objections against Christianity or against a God. And I show you, then I present you some very easy and reasonable answers to refute these objections. And now, today, I'm going to talk about a question that a kid from my church asked me this very afternoon. It's a very interesting and deep question because it goes to the very, very beginning. The question is this. Why did God create us? So why did God create human beings if he knew that we would reject him, that we would disobey him, that we would sin? Because sin, is just disobeying what God says. Why did God do that? Why did he choose to create us, even if, because he's all-knowing, even if he knew already that we would reject him, that we would disobey him? Why did he create us? And this is a very, as I said before, very interesting question, very deep, because it goes to the very root of Christian theology. And I think the most reasonable answer to this question, because it's not an objection, it's just a question, right? The most reasonable answer is one word: love. In order to have a world, a universe, a reality where love is allowed, so where love exists, there must be free will, because love cannot be forced. By definition, love is something that you freely give to someone or to something. You cannot be forced to love. That is not love anymore. It's something else. Love is always free. But as long as it's free, you are free to love, or you can also be free to hate. So because God, the reason why he created us was because he wanted to have a relationship with us. He wanted us to be with him, to follow him, to obey him, to speak to him, and to just be with him. That's why he created us. And he wanted us to love him, to freely love him. But because it's free, you can also freely choose to hate him, or to reject him, or to disobey to him, or to just ignore him, because it's free. Because God didn't want robots. God didn't want people that would be forced to love him, because that wouldn't be love. That would be anything else. That wouldn't be love. Because he wanted us to freely choose to love him. That's why we can freely choose not to love him. And that's the price of love. And therefore, as long as we're free and this universe is free, we can freely choose to do good, or we can really freely choose to do evil. It's just the universe, I'm pretty sure that when God was thinking about creating the universe and creating everything, he was balancing out the pros and the cons of creating this universe with love. Because God is all-knowing, he knew already that we would freely choose to reject him. If you knew, in the Bible is written the story of Adam and Eve, and how they freely chose to reject God. They disobeyed his commands, and therefore they got separated from his presence. And because of that, every other human being that was born from Adam and Eve, so pretty much all of us, we all were born with this curse of being already separated from God because of sin. And our love is, God loves for us is so great, is so huge that he decided that the price of love was better than the creating a universe where love wouldn't be possible. He probably considered, okay, what do I do? Do I create just animals, or do I create human beings that can freely choose to love me or reject me? And probably he, in all his knowledge, he knows everything. He probably thought that it would be best to create and to have a universe where love is possible. And remember, God also paid a huge price for this, because in order to redeem us, in order to give us a chance to come back to him, he had to take our place. So he had to become a human, to live a perfect life that we could have never lived, so to live a life without sin. And that was Jesus. And Jesus, when he died on the cross, he was taking on him all the sin of all humanity, from the past, present, and the future. All the sin, all the guilt, all the pain, all the suffering was on Jesus in that moment. And he took it on himself, and he took our place. What Jesus, all the pain, all the suffering, all the things that Jesus went through were the things that we deserved, because we were the ones that disobeyed God. The price, the Bible is clear. The price of the cost of sin is death. There is no other way. God is holy, and there is no way that a sin, can even get close to his presence. And so Jesus, when he died for us, he took all the place, all the things that we deserved, all the guilt, all the cost of our sin, so that was death. He took it on himself, and he gave us the opportunity. If we trust in him, we believe in him, we can access once again into God's presence, because Jesus took our place. He took our guilt, and therefore we can be free from any consequences of sin, and we can access into God's presence once again. So that's the story. And you can see how huge, God's love is, because God didn't really have to sacrifice himself for us. We're not worthy. We were just, something that he created. We don't really have any intrinsic value, but he is the one that gives us value. He is the one that loves us so much. He wants to be with us so much that he decided to take a place, to die, and to give us the opportunity to, if we want, to be able to be with him again. And God, even if it was for just one person, God would do it. Jesus died even for one person. Jesus would have time for him or for her. So that is just how huge God's love is. And that's the reason why, going back to the question, why God created us. Because even if he knew that we would reject him, but he also knew that some would love him, that some would obey him, that some would follow him. And therefore, the value of having some people follow him and obey him was higher than the risk of having many others not following him. So that's why he created us. And I want to just read with you two verses from the Bible. Again, just to mark once again how deep and how great God's love is. So Romans chapter 5 verse 8 says, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So it was God, so it was Jesus that took the first place. We didn't deserve anything. We didn't really have any value, but God decided to take the first step. He decided to love us. You know, even if we didn't deserve it, He decided to love us, to take our place, to take our guilt, and He decided to die for us in order to give us a chance. And yeah, so once again, I'm going to read it again. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And I'm going to also read to you another verse. And this verse is very interesting because it just also figuratively it speaks about how great God's love is. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 18 says, to grasp, so there is a part before, so then it says, to grasp how wide and long and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge. So a love that is even greater than knowledge, because that you may be filled to the measure of all the fullness of God. And once again here we have this very interesting comparison between love and knowledge. Now, even if God knows everything, His love was greater than that. Even if He knew that we would reject Him, His love was so great that He decided to take the risk, and even if only some people would follow Him, that would be worth for Him. And that's why He created us, and that's why He gave us every day the opportunity to turn from our own selfish way of living and starting to follow Him. And He's just waiting for us to do this, because that is when we can realize our true purpose and we can become truly happy. There is no real happiness apart from God. Everything that you could say, yes, but I'm happy doing this, doing that, that is just an apparent happiness that goes away very quickly. As soon as it appears, it goes away. Instead, God's joy is something that endures even through the hardest times, even through the worst times. It endures because it's from God. That is the real source of happiness. And yeah, so this was the video I wanted to make today. So I hope you enjoyed. God bless you and see ya. Bye bye.